Alright guys, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you all had a fantastic holiday, hopefully a little more exciting than Bitcoin's price action. To be honest, not a heck of a lot has been going on in the charts, but it's been a while, so I figured I'd at least come hang out, look at some charts, answer questions about the MDX ALGO indicators if you guys have any. If there's any newcomers, it looks like most of you guys are familiar faces here, but that sort of thing. So to be honest, I've mostly been away from the charts over the holidays, like I mentioned, so most of this is going to be just freestyling. We're just going to see if we can find anything important or exciting in the charts here. Looks like Bitcoin is coming to life a little bit here, so starting things off, I'm just going to take a look at some Bitcoin analysis. I'll bring up my settings for my algo indicators and that sort of stuff in a little bit here. But just starting off with a little freestyle analysis here. I had mentioned on my video that I made last night this upward sloping resistance line that we had. I had it mapped out green yesterday, but we had this potential support line. We had these two perfect touch points, so I extended this. This is on the 4 hour. This was looking actually fairly bullish to me just because it looked like a bit of a failed break since that was our third touch point and we never even got a nice clean close below that. We just started getting candle wicks below that line and the body's actually closing up above still. So that wasn't looking all too bad in my opinion. It's looking weak though. I was hoping that if this was going to be a proper failed break, I was hoping to see some sort of a reaction out of the bulls, but they're really just letting this opportunity pass them by, it seems like. One thing that I will at least give the bulls in this case, however, is I mentioned this in my video yesterday too, the fact that we did have that breakout. I mapped out a second line, just kind of skipping this touch point here, going from our same starting point and then going to our new low here that was created. Since there wasn't a nice clean close or anything, I was saying that, you know, maybe we do just have a new trend line forming there. That's kind of the downside with diagonal lines. Quite often you end up having to redraw them depending on how candles are closing and that sort of thing. It also depends on your own analysis. That's just kind of my own rules that I start to redraw them if we're getting those failed breaks and stuff like that, just because I'm willing to extend the range a little bit then with the kill zone that's kind of formed here. But yeah, so we basically had the same thing. I mean, the second line here, we actually did end up getting some candle bodies closing below it, but we never did get that support resistance flip. So far, the bulls are actually showing signs of life. I can't discredit them right now. They're looking weak, but so do the bears. I mean, nobody's willing to pull the trigger right now. I've thought for, well, basically this whole time here, I was thinking that, you know, we're just about to dump off a cliff. We kind of dropped this upward sloping trend line, respected as resistance, and then dropped. But it got cut short very quickly. I think a big part of that is we do have this potential support here. I like to map out my support boxes kind of like this if we find a potential bottom. Like here we set a low and we set a lower low. So I wanted to basically outline this entire kill zone here. So just this whole wick area out of these 4 hour candles here. So that's just kind of an area that I am interested in, even though we kind of temporarily dropped those upward sloping trend lines. Like I said, they weren't super significant. They didn't have a whole bunch of accurate touch points, really just the two of them. And it was getting a little flip-floppy there. So looking more at the horizontal range there, I think that box is definitely something to consider. I know if we end up breaking and getting closes below this purple line here, then I'm really going to think that we're starting to target some lower levels. I mean, we still do have this potential support right here. But other than that, I mean, that's just a little bit there until we basically go and test our current lows. And that's where things could get a little bit interesting. If we actually end up sweeping these lows, breaking down below this white line here, flip that into resistance, for example, I mean, the floodgates could really open up. Let's face it, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. There's a lot of fear in the market. So we start dropping these horizontal levels. I just really think that if we start sweeping these lows back here, that things are not going to be looking too great. Because I know I've pointed this out on a daily time frame. Hopping over to this bigger pattern here, I mentioned that we have this potential descending triangle here. Very large pattern, nothing to be taken too lightly there. After we broke down below, we even did get a retest very quickly there, flipping it into resistance. And then even when we traded sideways a little bit, you know, I was actually a little surprised that the bulls never pulled the trigger a little more aggressively here. We were able to establish some kind of support there relatively soon. But when we tested up again, once again, we just retested the bottom of that triangle and flipped it into resistance and then pulled back again. Not only that, just looking at the MDX ALGO indicators, it looks like things have changed a little bit. Something that I was looking at, there was a orange W here. That might have been on a different chart or something like that. Or maybe that was on the daily. Yeah, that was on the daily. So we got that retest there with the warning of a reversal there. So that was not something that the bulls would want to see. Just that perfect retest with a reversal warning coming at you from the bears there. That was just looking quite brutal, to be honest. On top of that, we have these potential, these little blue triangles are potential tops and bottoms. So you can see that we got a potential top right as the 21-day EMA was just above the price, basically, just showing more resistance out of this indicator. So yeah, once again, just Bitcoin not looking super strong there. The 4 hour, you can see we got this little bit of upside move here, but quickly getting shut down by the EMA. This would be on the 4 hour now, but same thing, the 21 EMA, showing a little bit of resistance here. So once again, I think that just the fact that we dropped this upward sloping support line, things aren't looking too good. Even though it is a little floppy right now, it's just really not looking too strong. The 4 hour ALGO 3 indicator here, we actually got a short signal. That would have been right about here at 16,648. You can see the stop loss here is just above 17K. Will this play out? I mean, we basically already reached the first target. I mean, I'm going to call that a successful hit there, because generally speaking, if I am taking these signals, I like to be a little shy with them. With my take profits, I'm taking them a little bit earlier, and with my stop loss, generally I have it a little bit looser. But that's to each your own. These are just indicators, so no matter how much I like them, no matter how good they are, in the end, they are still just indicators to be taken in for just adding confluence to your own analysis. So that's just kind of how I look at this. But yeah, like I said, we do have this potential support still, this little bit of a box here. If I bring up the other MDX indicators here, you can see the oscillator 4 up on top here. We were even getting these potential bullish pivotal points here showing up on the oscillator 4. And those were actually lining up quite well with these bullish reversal warnings on the ALGO 3. Obviously, it never really came to a whole lot there. The bulls never really did pull the trigger. But those warnings are still there right around a typical, just a support area that I am watching anyways. And now we're actually getting something interesting. The oscillator 4 showing a bullish divergence there, and the oscillator 5 is actually agreeing with that. So that is good to see, in my opinion. When you see these indicators starting to line up like that, that's generally a good sign. So yeah, like I said, there is still this little bit of support here, but truthfully, guys, Bitcoin is looking weak in my opinion. But yeah, we're going to have to see what happens if this support level ends up dropping. Like I said, I think there's a clean dump right down to our current lows, basically, unless we, like I said, if we happen to find support around these levels right here. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's looking like a clear dump if we end up losing this support down towards about 15.5, somewhere in there. So we'll have to see what happens there. Looking on a bigger time frame here, this would be my weekly chart. You can see that the price is still holding on this green line, which I've been talking about in all my streams recently. Basically, this line comes from this little bit of support we found. I know it's really not much. But just basically this whole green box here, I was looking at our previous market cycle all-time high back in 2017, the end of 2017 there. just mapping it all the way straight across to basically some of the only consolidation that we got, any serious consolidation we got on that parabolic bull run, is we did kind of pause at these levels for about 3 or 4 weeks. So there is that little bit of confluence there. Like I said, it's not much, but it is a weekly chart, so I'm at least willing to consider the possibility that there is some strong support at that level, and that is currently where the weekly candles are really trying to find support. I mean, even when we did drop down lower towards that 15.5, you can see that we did still get these candle bodies closing above that line. So far, it is looking like a little bit of a fake out. The bulls are trying to hold that level as support, but again, it's looking quite weak. And if we lose that level, I mean, I think to nobody's surprise that I'm kind of eyeing up that 10K region. A lot of analysts, a lot of traders are kind of looking for that $10,000 level. And there's a lot of reasons. For one, there is a lot of structure here. I mean, you can see that we were testing this level as resistance, 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 flipped it into support, and then went parabolic. So I think it is actually an important level there. On top of that, if I take just a measurement here, a lot of you guys will be familiar with this fact that most Bitcoin bull runs, or sorry, bear markets rather, after the bull run end up pulling back about 85%. That's happened in 2017, 2018. You can see it way back in this market cycle back here, kind of same thing, 86, 87. Really, even this very mini bear market, if you want to call it that, even this significant pullback was over 80%. So that's kind of a very familiar thing for bear markets to do, would be pull back around 85%. And currently, I mean, we've maxed out at about 77, 78% of a pullback. If we dropped all the way down towards that 10K level, that would give us that 85% reset. So once again, just adding more confluence to that level, I think it absolutely makes sense that we could just dump. There's obviously not a ton of trading action in these levels, so the floodgates could really open and we drop down to that level where there's a little more confluence here. So obviously that could take a while to play out. You know, maybe we get some sort of a bounce here, find some resistance, end up dumping down to those levels. What are the odds of that happening? Honestly, I'm not too sure. If we start breaking above this 25K level, yes, there is obviously a ton of resistance up ahead after that as well. But just the fact, if we start kind of clearing some of these important resistance levels, I think the structure of the chart may actually be changing and we might not actually get that dump all the way down like so many people are expecting. But at this point, I mean, I don't trade based on just the weekly chart. This is just an overall outlook on the market. So whatever happens, happens. That's not going to affect my trading all too much. I'm more interested in trading smaller time frames, basically 4 hours and less. So yeah, that's about that. Taking a look at the DXY, I know I've pointed this out time and time again, but very, very important level of resistance that it hit here. This was a 10-year long channel, as well as this 20-year long Fibonacci pull, and the fact that it lined up so perfectly with this pocket that I love to outline every time I bring up Fibonacci's to you guys in the private Discord or anything like that. I'm always talking about the 786, 886 Fibonacci's, and that's totally where the DXY ended up topping out in its parabolic run there. This is a monthly chart, so this is absolutely huge. Obviously, once again, I'm not going to base any Bitcoin trades based off a monthly chart on the DXY, but if we zoom in here, obviously it's kind of getting to that point where the DXY has seen that massive pullback ever since testing the top of that channel. Is it going to find support eventually? I mean, eventually things do find support. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. So I think absolutely this could be the kind of level that the DXY would find support. Obviously, it's got a whole bunch of support along the way as it goes down. But yeah, for now, we're going to have to see what happens here. I think if the DXY was able to reclaim this red resistance line here, I think it might take a little bit of a run up a little bit higher. And just looking, just showing you what I'm looking at. Again, this is a daily chart here, but we just basically started setting lower lows. So we had a low here, we set a lower low here, lower low here, lower low here. So this is our current lowest low. our highest point between our two last lows would be right here. So I've outlined it with this red horizontal resistance line. If we end up start reclaiming this level, even if we pull back but start staircasing higher, I think the DXY would end up basically going on a nice little run. And I honestly don't know how that's going to affect crypto at this time, because the fact is, Bitcoin looks like shit. It's traded down so aggressively for such a long time, and that's even with the DXY dropping, basically giving away a lot of the gains that it made in this parabolic run. As soon as it dropped this support line, basically, it had this upward sloping support line. As soon as it dropped that, I mean, it just kind of dumped off a cliff. This is a fairly big move considering the DXY. 5% is actually a big deal. So even with the DXY dumping so aggressively, Bitcoin hasn't really seized that opportunity. So what's going to happen if the DXY ends up pumping? I mean, that could basically spell disaster for Bitcoin. Or maybe it just won't be as inverse correlated as we're always expecting. Obviously, it doesn't have to stay that way. Cycles can change. I know at times they're both climbing, they're both selling off at the same time. Just a general rule of thumb is that they do have quite a bit of inverse correlation there. Checking out the MDX ALGO, the dashboard here of the website, you can see that Binance Retail this is on the 4 hour here. They are still quite long here. So that's generally not great. I would like to see the shorts building up, and then I would start to consider that, maybe we have a decent pump coming soon. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I know I didn't really go over any of the indicator settings just because I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here. I know a lot of you guys are quite familiar with the indicators, so I don't want to bore you too much by going into the settings and what everything does. If you're interested in my settings, generally I like to trade on the 5 or 15 minute chart with the 1 hour trend confluence. Right now I don't have the trend confluence active. I'm just on whatever chart here. What am I on here? I am on the 4 hour chart. So typically if I was looking to trade, I might be looking at something like the 5 minute. Oh, you can see it reclaimed that resistance line that I was looking at. Quite an interesting wick there. Got shut down pretty good. Obviously, I mean, these moves that look like they're super volatile though, guys, I mean, that's what that giant wick is, less than $100 or around $100. Yeah, things are so not volatile lately that every little move just seems like it's quite a serious move. So yeah, definitely consider that when trading right now. I know fees can be a bit of a kick in the ass when you're getting such small moves. Those fees can really add up if you're over trading in these kinds of conditions. So yeah, just looking at this. So generally I am on regular candles, so I don't have the Heikin-Ashi box checked. My trend one, I have been using the EMA with 21. EMA is just my personal preference. Recently I've been using it quite a bit. Generally, if I am trading, I would have the trend confluence with the hourly trend on. And I know most of you guys are familiar with this, but some people who won't be seeing this, why isn't that coming up actually? Oh, I still have it on chart. Okay, I got to change the trend to the hourly chart, EMA 21 trend confluence. That should bring up... That would be this green line down here. So we've actually recently flipped the hourly trend confluence, which is nice to see. And yeah, well, you can see that this trade indicator here just absolutely nailed that trade. It just blew past the third take profit there, getting a 3-to-1 easily. But yeah, so the hourly trend confluence, that would be this green line here, which was red earlier back here. This is probably my favorite thing about the MDX indicators, by the way. That trend confluence can be quite powerful. You get these strong signals when whatever chart you're on matches up with whatever your longer time frame trend confluence is. Very cool that you can have multiple different trend confluence active at a time. I know, like, obviously trading things like the 5 minute chart, even 15 minute chart, stuff like that can be quite degenerate. Not always a good idea to be trading on those short time frames, but it's nice when you can at least see a longer trend having confluence on the chart, being able to see the moving averages from longer time frames without having to flip flop between charts a million times. Super handy in my opinion. Yeah. So there's a few things that I don't have active at this time. I actually quite often I will even take off these signals and other things with this indicator just because I like to have clean charts and I don't like signals all over the place. But yeah, just for what it is right now, I'll leave these on how it is right now. Does anyone have any questions about the indicators themselves? What anything does? My personal settings? Anything like that?
Hey, Stu. Do you ever use the smooth oscillator 5?
I did see you talking about that earlier. What do I have here? I usually don't have smooth. I'm kind of the way you were talking about how you like to see all the chop. You like to see basically everything it throws at you, just so you can kind of come to your own opinion about it. So this will smooth the one down here out. Did that actually change the signals? That's actually something.
Yeah. Did you see that?
It actually.
I've never kept it on smooth since the update added that smooth option, and I just recently, in the last few days, I was like, because I'm like, how come it's not picking up this divergence? This divergence is pretty obvious to me. And then I was like, I clicked over to smooth, and I was like, the smooth is picking up divergences that the chop is not. And I was like, oh man, this is mad scientist genius again.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. I mean, you got a pretty compared to your smooth versus your choppity chop. I mean, that's, so
that's interesting. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention, because moving forward, I wouldn't mind having both active, just because I know you were talking about how important those divergences can be and stuff like that in the charts. And any time I can pick out a divergence, it's just a reason to analyze things closer and start actually considering some possibilities, Yeah, that's interesting that it actually changes. I don't know why it would change the signals, but the fact that it does, I wouldn't mind having both of those. Have you tested that with the Oscillator 4 at all?
What does the Oscillator 4 have a smooth though?
No, never mind. I was just assuming things there.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no. I understand why it does, because it like right there to the left of middle. You could see how, where you got all that choppity chop down there on your bottom oscillator 5, and then it takes that smoothness out of it. When you smooth it, I would actually want to look at both of them. I would want to look at like 80% of the chop, because I love the chop. But that smooth indicator, wow, that finds additional divergences. Again, I've never even clicked on the smooth. Well, I did when I first got the oscillator, but I love this smooth aspect of it, because it's finding divergences that are not necessarily, that are like hidden behind all the chop.
Absolutely. Well, that's funny you say that, because that is a hidden bullish divergence too. Yeah, that's wild, very right? Interesting. Actually, you know what? Looking at this, I should have taken a trade here. Obviously, Captain Hindsight is always a bit of a dick, but if we look back here, I mean, you can see we had this low, a lower low. So if we were considering this kind of our high, we actually did break above that here. And we never did get back down even below this. If we wanted to say that, here we set a high, here we set a higher high. This is obviously very micro analyzing the 5 minute, by the way. But our lowest point between those 2 points would be right here. I mean, we held that support beautifully there, and getting that nice bullish divergence right before that pump. I mean, look how beautifully that called that. Just the fact that we had this, obviously, once again, micro analyzing, but we had this mini uptrend starting, and then we saw this beautiful hidden bullish divergence on the smooth oscillator 5 there. Man, that looked good there. Oh well. Like I said, Captain Hindsight's a jerk anyways.
Yeah, I would recommend. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it into my part of my arsenal to go and check the smooth oscillator 5, because yeah, it's yeah, like what you're showing right there. That's freaking genius right there.
Yeah.
It's you don't see it on the choppity chop, though.
Yeah.
I will always have the choppity chop on my my normal day to day, but something definitely to go back and check, I would think.
Oh, for sure. It never hurts to have a couple of things up there. And like, I know obviously you don't want too many things going on because then you'll confuse yourself, but I've really been liking this oscillator 5. I mean, I know I've said it before in the past that the RSI is kind of the only other indicator I've really used in the past, where I've used for extended amounts of time anyways. And this indicator just reminds me of a nice beefed up version of the RSI, and to have two different outlooks on it like that, that's just more divergences that can catch your eye and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm definitely gonna have to keep those both on moving forward. What's your opinion on where we're heading? Does anyone have any strong opinions where this market's headed? Because I honestly don't have a strong opinion right now. I'm leaning bearish just because things look a little weak. But I mean, we do still have that horizontal support, so we're gonna see.
Guys, I've got a question on the indicator.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, basically, do you know when you put your take profits on in your settings, and then you do your reversals as well? As soon as you click reversals, on mine it gets rid of the TPs. Is that a conflict?
Sorry, which one? So if you take off the reversal warning, is that the one?
So if you just take off reversals and leave signals on, no, sorry, take profits on. So take the reversal, take profits on. Have a look at the chart.
I just want to find a spot where I see a TP.
And you will see that TP disappear the moment you've clicked reversal.
Why don't I see? I just want to find a TP so I can... oh, here's one down here.
Yep.
Okay, let's... so you're saying if I take off the reversal warnings...
On mine, they just disappear.
Oh, I still have TP there.
Have you still got your TP there? Has it removed it? And it's not removed it anywhere else, has it? So I don't know. It's just weird because on mine,
yeah,
it did something there, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's strange. It's still definitely staying for me.
With all of them. So if you click your reversal back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh,
those
my
other
TP.
Ones are gone.
Oh, that's weird. Some of them disappeared and some of them stayed.
Yep.
Like I still have this one.
Is that a bug?
That may be a bug. I'll definitely mention it to the team there. I'll mention it to MDX and see if he's had any experience with that or anything. Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll definitely jot that down here. Warnings, TPs disappearing. Yeah, I'll definitely bring that up to him.
No, I thought there was something probably wrong with my settings, but obviously not. So no, that's perfect. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it seems like I've got the same thing, so that's, I mean, not good, but I guess it is. Probably makes you feel good that at least we know that it's not just you.
Yeah, basically, at least because I was losing my mind. I was clicking it and clicking it off because I couldn't get any TPs.
Yeah.
I had very few TPs, and the moment then I switched to the reversals, the other one went, and I was like, it just didn't make sense.
Here, let's just
and then instead of the TPs, it just puts a W in those certain places as well.
Yeah, except that's weird that I have this one TP behind this bullish divergence. That's what's back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's weird. Most of them did change. Okay, well, good to know. Definitely good to
what
know.
what is that reversal button?
That's just like these orange dots with the W. That's just a reversal warning that things are basically the same as the trend exhaustion. Like anytime you get those orange dots, the take profits, the warning of the reversal, the trend exhaustion, it's all, I don't know, kind of the same the way I look at it. Either way, it's just looking like things are a bit overextended. Yeah, they've definitely.
You know, if you scroll down, do you know on your settings? Do you know when you scroll down? What did you have on? Yes, if you just scroll down in your settings, I've seen. Oh yeah, so your indicators regular. You've got it as red and green. That's wicked. Because I think in one of Max's tutorials right at the start, I think he had them both in orange.
Oh, okay, yeah. He probably just had these ones or something, or just changed the
Yeah,
colors.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Wicked.
keep mine.
Yeah, I might just do that.
I think mine came. I want to say it came red and green by default.
No, I don't think mine did.
Okay, that's interesting. I've always had mine red and green. Maybe I did that by myself earlier on or something. Maybe I can't remember. Also, something I want to point out, just in case anybody is having issues, and I try to make sure I mention this every video. Make sure you have your visual order set to bring to front. Sometimes the colors will look funny and things will disappear and that sort of stuff. So often that is something that people have to do. I think everyone here looks fairly familiar. I think all your names are familiar, so you've probably heard me talk about that a million times already. But for any new people watching the posted video, anyways, that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, sorry, there's one more thing. Do you know with your take profits and your stops and entries, that setting that you click on? So, for example, let's just say you're going from your 5 minute to your half an hour one, for example. Is there a certain period of time when that will actually change?
Like when this trade signal will change?
Yeah.
I don't think it changes until candle close. So, like, let's say this one changes its mind because, let's say, a candle closes way down here or whatever.
Yeah.
It won't actually give you this information until after the candle is closed.
Okay.
While the candle is still moving, I believe if the candle's still moving, it won't change yet.
Because I've noticed, obviously, in the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes and the 20 minutes and the 4 hour of it, obviously they will all be different because it's according to that. But have you ever seen it where it kind of conflicts with each other, but in a way where it's just hard to explain? Because I've seen it on one occasion where I was probably on the 15-minute one, and then I went to the hour one, and it actually worked out that the 15-minute one was better than the hour one, even for that hour. If that makes sense.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, and I've seen that before.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to know if it actually closes on the candle itself. Then I know what to expect.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, if there's quite often where, like, obviously the time frames will conflict with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes, like, so you're saying that the shorter time frame was actually in a better position?
More correct. Yeah. Than the hour, even after the hour, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that's just, I guess, one of those reasons why, I mean, it's good to always take a look at
It's just an idea. It just kind of helps you out with Confluence as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you don't solely go on that, but
yeah, for sure.
It just gives you a better idea.
Yeah, just like everything with the indicators, right? It's just you're just looking for more things to support your own analysis, basically, right? You're just looking for that extra confluence. So the more the indicators have confluence with each other, most likely the better it's going to line up with your own analysis as well. So
so do you know the blue arrows underneath? That's just to say that's likely the top of
likely
the
a
price
top
market, kind of.
Yeah, like right here, for example, it did a nice
Yeah,
job calling a top. Obviously,
yeah,
again, not always the case. They're very similar to
yeah, of
like the
course.
orange dots, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Basically, just calling for, it would make sense for a reversal here because these triangles don't show up until the next candle. I believe it's a reading from the next
yeah, yeah,
candle. So, yeah, it's not until after this candle where it's like, yeah, the way the market reacted to this candle here, I could see this being a temporary top. And then, obviously,
yeah,
depending on the time frame, that might not last long. But,
yeah.
yeah, like even here, obviously, by the time this candle closed, it would have been too late anyways.
Too
But,
late.
like, it
Yeah,
obviously did get a nice little move down on this time frame. But, yeah,
yeah.
it's never going to be, well, I shouldn't say that. It absolutely is perfect sometimes, but yeah, it's just one more little bit of confluence, just like the orange dots, the way I'm looking at it.
So you prefer the 15-minute one? Do you normally, is that the one that you find comfort in?
I flip back and forth between the 5 minute and the 15 minute quite often. With the 1 hour
Okay,
trend confluence. Even sometimes,
okay.
quite honestly, I will zoom into the 1 minute if we're getting
Yeah,
near that hourly trend confluence, for example.
yeah.
Here, where do I still have it? Oh, I turned it off again.
Oh, do you have the trend 2 clicked as well as a confluence?
Yes. So, yeah,
Okay.
right now. So I have my trend two, which would be my
Yeah, yeah.
EMA on the 1 hour. And
Hourly.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then trend confluence. So, yeah, that would be, I guess, this green line down here now would basically be my 21 EMA of whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, of the hourly. So, like my
And the red
favorite
one at the
positions.
top.
Sorry.
Which one was the hourly one? Sorry.
This green one down here.
And then the other one, the 21.
Yeah, so this would be the
Oh, sorry.
21
The 21
EMA
hour. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
on the hourly, and then this green line going up here, this would be the 21 EMA, but this is just the minute chart, so that's what that would be.
yes, 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 yes. Sorry, I know what you mean now.
So yeah, obviously those are reacting with each other. They're both lining up in agreement, so you get those strong signals, which is very cool. But yeah, obviously, like I said, the trend confluence is one of my favorite things about this indicator, and I like to take the trades that are closer to the confluence. So, like this, for example, if we started getting long signals way up here, but the trend confluence is way down here, I'm going to be less likely to take those trades and a lot less confident in them just because it is getting so overextended. But quite
Yeah,
often, just like a failed break, let's say, of a horizontal trend line, I mean, I treat this
yeah,
trend confluence the same quite often. If we end up, let's say, getting 1 minutes or 5 minutes candles, either like wicking below but closing back up above this, quite
yeah,
often that can end up being a fairly nice entry there. So I like treating this a lot. Yeah, just very similar to a failed break of any trend line, basically. I just love how you don't have to switch between different time frames and stuff, and you can just bring that up on a
yeah.
smaller time frame chart, so you can really degenerate it up and really dial in, really zoom in, I guess.
No, that's wicked. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, hopefully I kind of answered what you were looking for.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else have any questions or any input? I mean, the floor is open if you guys just want to talk anything crypto, if you want to take a look at some random altcoins or shitcoins or anything. I'll probably stick around for another 15 or 20 minutes. If things do slow down, I could even end the stream and we can just hang out and keep it more casual. But for now, I guess I'm just going to keep it on some degenerate time frames here with the indicators up, and we'll just shoot the shit and see if anything kind of catches our eye. Right now, what are we on here? On the 5 minute. Once again, we are in a little bit of an uptrend at least now. Again, it's just a 5 minute, but we had our low. We had our, so here, how did this go? So we had our high, a higher high, so we had a higher low here. Then obviously we broke that high again. What would be our new higher low? Yeah, it's barely moved up if we're going to look at it as here was our high, here's our new higher high, the lowest point between those two. We would want the bulls to kind of step in around that level. So if we could end up getting a pullback and again getting some kind of failed break but finding support here, either a double bottom with a bullish divergence or just like some kind of a fake out there, that might be an opportunity for a long position. Stop loss could be nice and tight, just kind of somewhere below this previous higher low here. Sorry, I kind of forgot about the old chat here on the side. I'm really bad for forgetting about the messages here, so just bear with me while I catch up here. What time frame would you use that to look for trades? I guess I kind of went over that already. I'm usually on the 5-minute or 15-minute with the hourly trend confluence. TMA. That would be this moving average here. To be honest, I'm not sure what a lot of these stand for. It's a type of moving average. I would have to Google it right now real quick. I'm sure if you looked up TMA chart analysis, it'll probably tell you what kind of moving average that is. I'm not sure what the T would stand for. Time moving average, that's tough to say. If anyone knows, feel free to correct me. See people pointing out the 0.5 fib sometimes. Do you ever look at that? I do look at the 0.5 fib sometimes. For me, a big thing with Fibonacci's is how the price reacts to them. Like, let's just say right now, this very micro pump that we have here. Like, let's say we end up dropping down towards this 0.5 fib here. And let's say we get a bit of a fake out or start getting a double bottom or even a triple bottom with some kind of a bullish divergence on the indicators, then I would definitely consider the 0.5. I don't like to blindly set orders on Fibonacci lines. If I do it, it's usually around these ones just because that's getting so much closer to a proper stop loss, getting a lot closer to our structure. That's one of the reasons I like those fibs, and also I just see them being respected so often in the last, well, I guess as long as I've been paying attention to those Fibonacci's, because, I mean, quite often we all know that the 618 is a very important Fibonacci level, but I don't know, since I've been watching, I've been seeing these fibs down here actually being respected more, in my opinion anyways, and that goes from pulling from top to bottom as well as bottom to top. So if I was looking for support there, like I said, I'd be pulling from bottom to top. And I'd be looking for a pullback. Like if we start losing some of these Fibonacci's and pulling back, I would say that we're going to start testing back down towards those. Obviously doesn't have to happen, but... and then let's say... You know what? This looked like it was a high at one point here before we set this low. Let's just see if any Fibonacci's would line up with something like that. Actually, would have been this low here. Yeah, not seeing it line up with those two right now perfectly. Let's just see. Actually, here would be a good example. So if I was looking for resistance levels with a Fibonacci, let's just say we topped out here. After we sold off, we bottomed out down here. Let's just see. Yeah, right there. I mean, you can see how that Fibonacci loves to be respected quite often. And that was a perfect example there. My screen's actually getting a little choppy here. I don't know if I have too much going on here or what's going on. But yeah, those are my favorite Fibonacci's. So yes, I do look at the 0.5 sometimes. I just find that the 0.786 and 886 are just a little more accurate more often. And like I said, just closer to a better stop loss level quite often. Triangular moving average for TMA. That, I gotcha. Good. Look at you. You're teaching me things now. Sol, let's look at some shit coins here. And by shit coins, just because that's what my chart is called. Sol USD. Oof. What is Sol doing here? Well, it doesn't look great. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like that we got some candle body closes. This is the daily chart. Or sorry, you said the 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour. Well, just jumping ahead there then. The daily looks like shit. Let's just freestyle a little bit here. I'll keep that mapped out. Let's zoom into the 4 hour here. Yeah, just gonna freestyle a bunch of random stuff. Let's just see if we can find anything on this chart. I like exact touch points, something like that. Let's zoom in. What do we got on the hourly? You know, one thing at least is you can see that we were setting lower lows. This was our last lower low, then here. So this would have been our lowest high on this downward trajectory, and we did actually get some candles above that level. So it's possible that this downtrend has been broken here. But again, doesn't look good. I do not like that the daily chart is closing below this wick down here. Not only that we got a close below it, but the fact that we got another close below it and we're still trading below. Obviously, if we end up getting some sort of bullish engulfing candle and we end up breaking these downtrend lines, let's say especially if we can kind of get back above this level around that 1250 somewhere in there. If we can see a daily candle getting closes back above there, I would say that Solana could be in a decent position. Let's just see what the 15-minute is saying. Kind of same thing here. You can see that this would have been a lower high at one point, really micro-analyzing the 15-minute here. But yeah, we were setting lower lows. Set a low here. There's our high. And obviously we got some candles closing above that level. So yeah, it's good that we reclaimed this level, even got that little bit of support off that level. But truthfully, even if this was a change in structure here, being there's not really any structure that formed on this little pump to the upside, I mean, your stop would have to be somewhere way down here. I mean, that's quite a pullback that it could get. Oh, that's almost 20%. Let's just say looking for Fibonacci's from where we bottomed out there to where we pumped to. Right now, I mean, it's nice that we found support at the 618 there. That's good to see. Let's see what the other indicators are saying here. Yeah, RSI is starting to look a little bit toppy. It's starting to curl to the downside here. The oscillator 5 is seeing some bearish divergences at these levels. Something to consider there, though, is it did actually have this hidden bullish divergence at these levels down here. So yes, we did get this very micro analyzing here, guys, but we did get this little pump out of that call. So maybe the bulls are still showing a little bit of strength, even though we're seeing these bearish divergences now. Maybe there is some hidden bulls kicking around. But as it stands right now, I don't know. It's starting to look a little bit toppy to me on the 15-minute chart. I could definitely see a pullback, but yeah, we're going to have to see what happens there. Let's really zoom right in. Check a 5-minute chart here. That doesn't really tell us anything any different. Basically, we set a high back here, kind of just wicking above, nothing serious happening. Yeah, I don't know. Not a heck of a lot to say on Solana right now, other than it does look a little bit weak. Like I said, it's possible we broke this temporary downtrend here, but just the fact that the daily and 4 hour looks so gross, in my opinion, until that changes, looks a little risky is all. But I really don't follow Solana all that much. Like I said, this is totally freestyling. I have not looked at this chart in the past several weeks, probably since last time one of you guys would have recommended I look at it in one of these streams. But that's just kind of what I'm looking at for now, anyways. FTM. What's FTM? That's Phantom. Oh, I was looking at this one previously with you guys, actually, in the streams here. That's interesting. I mean, I obviously had this pattern mapped out for quite a while yet, or already. The indicators aren't really giving too much of a clear answer here. Obviously, I'd want to see what happens with this triangle. I mean, this could break either way. If we break to the upside there, I mean, that could be set for some juicy moves because let's just see here. Where would be the next resistance we'd find? I mean, there is a lot of resistance up above us either way, but let's say we were to get a measured move of this triangle, even something like that from wherever we end up breaking out from. I mean, that could be a very juicy move. That's over 100% move to the upside, and depending how that plays out, quite often, if these patterns play out as a reversal, sometimes that'll just be the first of many measured moves. So, depending, I think it really depends what Bitcoin's doing. I don't follow the fundamentals here at all when it comes to altcoins. But just looking at price action like that, I think if Bitcoin does find some support and starts trending higher, I mean, some of these altcoins could be in a beautiful position to make some crazy gains. Maybe see a bit of a mini altcoin cycle or something like that. Depending how this triangle or this wedge, it looks more like a wedge to me. Depending how this plays out, I mean, that could be a very juicy move. I don't like the fact that we did drop below this support here, even though it was just temporary. It was a bit of a fake out and we went to the upside, but you can tell we just got shut down shy of reaching our resistance there. In fact, I could probably pull up a Fibonacci and we could see some of my favorite lines again. Oh, that's actually more the 618. Once again, the 618 can definitely be a level of interest in the market. Just seeing that rejection there. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's nice to see how things react off of levels. So if you would have this mapped out, again, this is a daily chart, but if you had this mapped out and you were watching this trend line here on shorter time frames, I'm sure there would have been some beautiful short opportunities there. Let's just try and find some support for where we're at right now. Pull a Fibonacci the opposite way. We're kind of consolidating, just kind of bouncing around between the 618 and the 786. The fact that we're not holding this as support like clean up here, I would say it would make sense that we would drop down towards the 786 or even 886, but obviously we're going to have to see what happens. This is a daily chart, so a lot can change very quickly on a chart like this. But those are some levels I'd definitely be interested in watching. But like I said, I think the bigger picture, we'll have to see what this wedge does. That's a large pattern at play. This goes all the way back towards May. That's over, a half a year of price data in this pattern here. Check Ethereum. Let's check on the old Bitstamp chart. Ethereum is something I actually haven't looked at in a long time as well. Let's start on the daily chart here. I am just going to... So this purple line, just trying to wrap my head around what I had mapped out last time because I haven't looked at this chart in a long time. But obviously I have my purple line down here, kind of the previous market cycle low. So I could pull a Fibonacci from bottom to top here. You can see that we're kind of trading right around that 786 Fibonacci level. That could be a good thing. The problem that I see with that is we've already tried to find support at this level, and we did get a nice pump. I mean, we got, what did it pump? Just between the 786 and the 618. I mean, that would have been a 73% jump to the upside there. That was quite a nice move off the 786 there. 886 we have not tested yet. Where's this box coming from? Just some support back here. Does it make
Can you
sense?
have a look at the 5-minute one in ETH? So I've got the same screen up, so then I can see what
On Ethereum?
what you're see. Yeah.
Let's hop over to the 5-minute here.
I've got exactly the same as your settings with your trends and your confluences.
Oh, better make... Oh, I don't have them on this. Here, I'll just change some things here. EMA 21. Oops. 21. 21 EMA hourly trend confluence.
Yep, that's what I've got.
There we go. All right, so kind of the same thing as Bitcoin. Hey, you can see that the hourly trend confluence did just recently flip here. I didn't have my signals on either. No long signal yet, hey?
On the hourly, I've got a long signal.
Okay. Just want
I'm
to
on the
make sure I
EQSB
do...
5-bit one.
Okay. Yeah, it could be a little bit different because I am on the Bitstamp chart just because it goes back further. Ethereum, I just want to turn this off. So kind of the same thing I was looking at with Bitcoin is we set this high and then we set a higher high. So we should have support kind of down here. So Ethereum is on a nice, I mean, when I say nice, this is obviously micro-analyzing again on the 5-minute. But yeah, we do have this little bit of an uptrend. I would like to see the price even come down here and retest this, get some kind of a double bottom, and then maybe go for a bit of a run. Bring the indicators back up. Yeah, I'm very surprised that there's no long signal there. Let's go to the hourly here on this Bitstamp.
Was your yellow line one that you actually put in, or was it support and resistance lines?
Sorry, let me go back here. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, the yellow line that's in there, is that something that you've put in, or was it on a support and resistance that came up automatically?
I just put that in.
Oh, okay, fine.
Just because I was looking at the higher high, so down here would be my higher low. So I just I just mapped out a yellow line there. Just as
so like your moving
area
averages,
of interest.
like your hourly moving averages, like at the moment the green is gone, it's flipped to green, and it's quite lower. So that's indicating that it's just basically about to take off.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, obviously these can get a little flip-floppy. They don't always take off, obviously. But yeah, I would be interested to see. I would personally like to see the price pull back a little bit just because, like I said, I like the entries that are closer to that hourly trend confluence line. And especially that right now it's lining up perfectly with that higher low horizontal line that I made in yellow there. So there's a lot of confluence
at
down
1189?
roughly. Sorry, what's that?
Was that at 1189 roughly?
I have 1192.
Yeah, it's roughly in that same region. Yeah, so in the right thing. Yeah.
Same kind of area. Yeah. What's a 15-minute shows basically the same thing. Hourly, let's see here. Where would... Oh, yeah. The hourly actually would have room to go if we were going to test our lower high. Just looking at the hourly here, let's just take these indicators off. Actually, interesting. We're found support at an interesting level there, actually, on the hourly. If we go back from here, very nice clear support box where we actually ended up finding support there. What do we got here? That's kind of forcing something. Let's see, what are the indicators saying? RSI, get rid of that. Nothing too clear right now on the hourly. We did get this nice bullish divergence call, but that has already, I mean, a part of it at least has played out already, so it just gets a little more risky. Yeah, I'd be kind of watching, just me personally, watching the shorter time frames, and like I said, seeing some kind of a pullback towards that yellow line. In a situation like this, let's say I had FOMO right now, just because I do see that we broke above this level and there is a chance that we're flipping that resistance into support. But let's say that I'm expecting support all the way down towards here. Quite often what I'll do is just end up laddering a position in to try and get my average entry a little bit lower if we do end up dumping.
Yeah.
I know not everybody's a fan of laddering in positions, but I don't know. I think that it's a good practice just because it does tighten up, I guess, just, yeah, make that stop loss a little less painful if it gets hit. As long as you look at laddering in as, you know, laddering in your position and not quadruple downing on your position on the way down, right?
Mm.
So two very different things there. But
Perfect. Thank you so much.
yeah, I'm curious to see what Ethereum does here because obviously I think it kind of depends what Bitcoin does. But yeah, the hourly trend confluence did flip green on the 5 minute here.
It's flipped long on mine. On my 1 hour, it's flipped long on my chart.
Here, let me just pull up. Let's see. I'll add the trade thing as well. Still showing a short for me. I guess that might just be because it's Bitstamp. You said you were on Bybit?
Yeah, Bybit, the perpetual contract, 1 hour. That one, yeah.
I think Ethereum's a good one. I think I got a target up at 2100.
My Ethereum 1 hour is still showing a short.
Yeah, I've got a long that's flipped on the, not the bar now, the 1 bar before that.
Okay. Do you maybe have your trend confluence a little different, or maybe I do? Here, let me just
let me have a look. Let me just get my settings up 1 minute. So I've got my trend EMA, trend 1 EMA at the chart. Yep. Trend 2 I've got clicked on. And I've got trend confluence click on as well.
And that's set to 1 hour?
Yeah, that's set to 1 hour, yeah. But on my signals, I've got both.
What's your trend 1 set to?
Trend 1 set to EMA 21 chart.
Okay.
Same as yours.
Just like mine.
Yeah.
Do you have Heiken-Ashi checked?
Yeah, I've got Heiken-Ashi. No, I've got Heiken-Ashi off on the actual algo, but it's Heiken-Ashi on the actual chart.
Oh, that might be what the difference would be then. If you had regular candles, if you check that box, if you're using Heiken-Ashi candles, I know typically you're supposed to have this checked. I haven't done any back testing with it. I use regular candles and always have. That's just my personal preference.
Okay, so if I want to do regular candles, let me have a look. Let me switch on to regular candles. So the Heiken-Ashi, which let's have a look.
Because that does definitely change the signals a little bit. So yeah, that's probably exactly why you have a long.
Okay, so I've gone back to candles. Let me have a look. Mine are showing hot. Well, they've got like borders around the candles now. 1 second.
Have you made sure that the visual order is bring to front?
Yes, I did on the last time. Let me just double check again. Visual order, bring to front. Yeah, that sorted that out. Yeah, I know. Yeah, my candles, my longs, disappeared now.
Okay, yeah. So it was probably just the Heiken-Ashi thing just interfering with that. I don't know exactly what changes in the settings for that, but just according
So
to
what's
listening
more
to
accurate then?
MDX and stuff, yeah, that's just something to pay attention to, I suppose. I've
So
just
what's more
always
accurate in your reading? What do you think? Like normal candles work better?
So I've never actually tested this with Heiken-Ashi candles at all. I've only ever used regular candles just because I guess just because of how I look at double bottoms and kill zones and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. That's just what I've back tested and traded with in the past. So I've just never used Heiken-Ashi because I've just
Okay.
never back tested or understand them.
No, that's perfect.
So I'm actually not sure which is more accurate. I know I've seen pictures of people using it where it's looked incredibly accurate with them, but I mean, obviously, every time you look at a chart, it's going to be different. So, yeah, I'm not sure. That's one of those things. It's kind of, I guess you could go back and back test and see like what the short and long
Yeah.
signals looked like, but you wouldn't see the actual trade entry part of it because if you went
Yeah.
back. But that would be something to pay attention to, I guess. If you're more of a Heiken-Ashi candle user, then I guess just pay attention for the next little while, kind of check both and see if one is
Yeah.
more
See.
accurate than the other. I'd be interested in your findings if that's something you do.
Yeah, no,
I'm
definitely.
very curious which is
Because
more
one
accurate.
because one thing I have done is what I copied what Max did on one of them, where he's inverted the colors. So your greens are matching up with your oscillators. So your greens are a signal to basically sell, and the red one, the red ones, it just basically goes with the oscillator. So whatever colors the oscillator showing at that point, that's exactly how the charts are showing. It was in one of his tutorials
Yeah, so more
when you
like
invert the
this.
colors.
I was typically doing that. I must have just, oh, yeah, I haven't changed all my charts since I was just on a different chart. Mine
Yeah,
wasn't like that, but yeah, I like to have mine inverted now too for that exact reason. It's nice when you see all three lining up, getting the same
yeah,
colors and everything. It just helps catch your eye and look a little cleaner and feel more confident in it.
yeah. It will be nice once that take profit and the warning thing gets kind of sorted, because then I can have them both on. It just gives
Yeah,
me that extra little bit.
yeah, I'm really interested what the deal is there. I'll definitely mention it to him right after this and see if he's heard of that from anyone else yet or if he's noticed it on his own or anything.
Just having a look at your chart and my one, boy, you've got strong signals there, and I've got all short signals. Let me have a look and see what's the difference in mine and yours. Let's have a look.
That would have to be the trend confluence. So I'm back on the Bitcoin chart now, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at I was on the ETH one for a second.
Oh
Just
yeah,
missed
that's
it.
probably why.
Yeah. No, that's probably why. No, that's cool.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. You guys can stick around. I'll definitely hang out and chat or whatever while I upload stuff and whatnot. I just want to start getting that going, so I'm gonna end the stream. For those of you who aren't in the private MDX Discord, you're missing out. There is a 15% discount in my referral link down below in the description and in my comments there. These are the indicators that, I don't know, like I said, I've only ever really used the RSI before these, and I've really been liking these indicators. So if that's something that interests you, there is the referral link down below. But if that is something you do, make sure you get involved with the Discord as well, like everybody who's live with me right now. It's just a super supportive community, active traders. I myself am learning a lot from other people in that group, so there's more to it than just the indicators, guys. But if you did appreciate being a part of this little stream here and being able to catch up on it a little later, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If anyone live hasn't subscribed to me yet either, by the way, StuTube Trading, all one word. And as well on Twitter. I don't always have time to post videos or whatever, so sometimes I post analysis on Twitter instead, so follow me there as well. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.